Oops, wrong one. There we go. Oof. Wow, I am running super late this time. It was just like I was getting home from work. I had to pick up a few things for tomorrow and the weekend. So, all sorts of stuff. So, but hey, I'm here now. Hopefully everything's working. How's it going? Steven here from Toastamac, and it's time for another live stream. Whew. I'm just glad to finally be ready for this. Whew. Anyway, so we'll still go about, half an hour as usual. Now for tomorrow me and the family are going to the Renaissance again because that's a lot of fun. So I don't really know if, I don't really know whether or not there's going to be a Chow Garden live stream tomorrow. Whether or not there will be one, I will let you know as soon as I'm able to. So just so you know. All right, so now with my first ever experience with a sensory deprivation tank. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Steven, why would you try something like this, It all started out with a conversation that me and one of my neighbors had as we were going out for sushi. And I mentioned, oh, hey, Aiden Perez, hey, Sharon Starkey, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so hope you've been having a good weekend so far. So, that's okay. That's okay, Aiden. There's no need to apologize. We all get busy with our lives, so I'm just glad that you're here. So, yeah, good to have you here. So, the reason I started thinking about the sensory deprivation tank was because of a conversation with me and one of my neighbors as we were going out for sushi. And we were talking about in my autism videos that, I talk a lot about the risk of overstimulation for autistic people. But then my neighbor mentions, what about the opposite? Sensory deprivation. And I realized at that moment that was a topic I never really talked about before. Oh, you're watching the Olympics. Nice. Anything particular happen with the Olympics so far? Genuinely curious. It's like there's so much going on that I haven't had time to keep up with the Olympics. Like, there's just a lot. Aiden Paris says, just finished up with Stellar Blade. Can't wait for tomorrow afternoon for the summer vacation patch, I'm assuming. Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Hey, Commentillies, good to see you. Very good to see you. Yeah, so Stellar Blade. I actually heard that the developers of both Stellar Blade and Nier Automata were actually complimenting each other's games, saying it was really good. So that's some good camaraderie there. So, getting back to the topic. So, nice. We got some medals. That's good. That's good. That's always good, Set some records, get some medals, all that good stuff. And if I remember correctly, was there a picture that where Snoop Dogg was holding the Olympic torch? Or was that just me imagining things? I mean, that would be pretty cool. Man, I needed that water today. So, getting back to what I was trying to say. It was at that conversation that I realized that, I've usually talked about overstimulation, but I never once talked about the opposite. So, at that point, I got started with doing some research. And sorry, I was just checking something. Anyway, oh, he did? Oh, wow. That's definitely a rare experience for Snoop Dogg, or for anybody for that matter, to be able to carry the real Olympic torch. I've seen it at 3 seconds when I arrived at the gym earlier this morning. Oh, nice. Very nice. So, what happened was, that was rare for him to carry the torch. It's probably rare for anybody to carry the Olympic torch. From what I understand, that's like a huge honor. They don't just hand that to anybody, It's someone that, that the Olympic organization chose specifically, someone they feel like they can trust, It's a pretty big deal. So I can't help but wonder if one side of the neck is shifted or something. Maybe I'm just going crazy. What else is new? Anyway, so it was at that point I wanted to do an autism video about sensory deprivation. Now, you know how I usually do this. I do some research before writing the script, but as I was doing more and more research on the matter and trying to write the script, and I emphasize on trying, I realized that doing research alone was not enough. I would actually need a hands-on experience to fully understand sensory deprivation. So, one of the biggest things that's talked about is, in this category, is the sensory deprivation tanks, where you get in this tank of salt water, you lie there for a little bit, you'll feel relaxed or zen or whatever, and then come back out more relaxed. From what I understand, this isn't exactly something new. It's actually been around for a while, because I remember when I was a kid, I watched an episode of The Simpsons when Lisa and Homer Simpson were actually trying something that pretty much looked like a sensory deprivation tank. And it was kind of funny, you know, like seeing Lisa lying there, like just being alone with her thoughts. And meanwhile, Homer's like, boring. So it's been around for a while. It's not exactly like brand spanking new, but apparently some people have been getting some good experience from the sensory deprivation tanks. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be around anymore. So I went to look at, you know, some sensory deprivation tank services near me. You know, like if there's any I could access myself. What the? In the middle of the live stream? Sorry, Mom sent me a text. So I was looking around for a sensory deprivation tank service near me, and what I found was a place called, assuming this loads up, Luna Float Spa and Salt Cave, and that's where they have the sensory deprivation tanks. Now, I decided to make an arrangement for not just me, but for Thomas as well, for a couple of reasons. One is that I needed to get Thomas out of the house for a bit, you know, get some fresh air and have him do something new. But the other thing was I was trying to run an experiment with the sensory deprivation tank, and I wanted Thomas to be a part of that experiment too. Like, basically the plan was for the service, Thomas can do whatever he wanted with the sensory deprivation tank, because they do offer options. Like, you can either have the hatch open or closed, and you can have the lights on or off, and you can choose to have some music playing or no music playing at all. So Thomas could do whatever he wants with his. But for me, I would do more of a controlled experiment where it's like the hatch is closed and the lights are off. I wanted the full deprivation experience so I could fully understand what it's like. And, you know, it's always fun to do stuff with Thomas, you know? Whenever he can, anyway. He's doing a lot of contract stuff, so that's why you don't see him in too many autism videos lately. You know, he's got a lot on his plate. So it was nice to give him a break from that for a while. Now, here's some things you'll need to know before trying something like this yourself. One is, when I was making the arrangement, there was this waiver to sign, you know, saying that you would not do anything to break the sensory deprivation tank. You would not do something like pee or poop or other stuff in there. Yes, that unfortunately does happen. Otherwise, I don't think that would have been in the waiver. You know, to make sure you fully understand everything and make sure you come to the appointment on time and, you know, stuff like that. So we had to sign that. Then afterwards, there was an email with a long list of do's and don'ts, like, you know, don't eat a huge meal beforehand. Make sure you're not doing hair dye right before the appointment or shaving right before the appointment. Or if you have any open scabs, that the sea salt could make worse, you know, or salt water could make worse. You know, just walking you through the whole process, like you gotta shower beforehand and afterhand. You know, basically going over a bunch of the do's and don'ts. And there was a short 4-minute video explaining what the experience is and what to do. Like, you don't want the salt water in the eyes because that'd be pretty bad. But you want to wash your face with a rag, not your hands, which would already have the salt water. You know, there was a lot of stuff that went into, you know, there was a lot of stuff that went into the prep phase for the sensory deprivation tank. And I'm not going to lie, that kind of made me anxious a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be that involved. I was just, thinking, get into the swimsuit, get in the tank, relax, and then get out. Easy. I didn't expect all this paperwork, But, it's there for a reason. And I had Thomas look over the instructions and the email, before we went. And then from that point, we got up, and surprisingly, Thomas got up early in the morning, which is quite rare for him. And then we both went. I went over the game plan with him. He could do whatever he wants. So first, we get into the building. We're greeted by a guy named Moses. Yes, that is his actual name. So we go to the weight room, watch the video again. And then we are brought into a room, and I actually took a picture. I'm going to see if I can show it to you. No, not that one. I'm going to try to pull up the image because I did take a picture before going into the sensory deprivation tank. I'm just going to go right here. Here we are. Well, that's not going to work. I'm going to bring it smaller. Here we are. Okay, so this is a sensory deprivation tank. Now, granted, this is actually an extra large version because A, those were the only ones available, and B, I'm a little bit claustrophobic, so I don't really like super tight places. So what you see right here is a deprivation tank, and you see the rag, you see a spray with just the regular water, and you also see that little ring right there. That's actually a pillow for your head to make sure that your head doesn't go, underneath the salt water, that you keep your head above the sea level, or water level, I should say. But what's not in the shot is on the left side, there is a shower that it is mandatory, whether you showered or not, to take a shower first before you get in. Then from there, you also have to... They also provide Q-tips to clean out the ears, but they also provide earplugs that you have to roll up and make sure it's really in there to make sure the salt water doesn't get in your ears. Pretty sure that would cause a great irritants. Now, once that's all said and done, what this place usually does is in the first 10 minutes, there's this meditative music that plays as you're getting into the tank. And, oh, we got a new subscriber, Brittany Lee. Thank you. So, once you get into the tank and the music's playing, you close the hatch. And the point of this music is to basically get you more relaxed in a kind of a meditative state as you get ready for your hour-long session. Either hour-long or 90 minutes, depending on whatever it is you do. There we go. Now, in terms of the experience itself, it was certainly interesting, I will say that, but to give you a better idea on what the experience was like, I would like to ask a favor of you. For those that are watching the live stream right now, or maybe you're just watching at this point, I want you to close your eyes and just listen to what I have to say. Because let me tell you, while I was in the sensory deprivation tank, I felt like I was a poet or a philosopher in there. So I was trying to figure out the best wording to give this experience. So close your eyes and listen to what I have to say. All right, here we go. As you enter the tank and get ready for your session, you close the latch, you choose whether or not to have the lights on, and the meditation music puts you in a relaxed and zen state, if you will. And as you're going into the zen state, your body starts to become less tense and more relaxed. Your session is about to begin, and soon your body starts to go through some changes. Is it a bad change? Is it a good change? Who knows? But it is a change. once you start getting deeper into it, your body and its senses become more dull, as there is not much to sense in this space. Your muscles, your skin starts to feel a little numb, and your senses become less potent and more dull. Even the feeling of the salt water you're in starts to lose its wet texture and feeling. Soon, you are no longer just floating in salt water, but rather just floating. You are no longer in a tank, but rather in a different space. A place that's void of senses or distractions or anything of the sort. You are just floating in a vast empty place where time, priorities, anxiety, schedules, responsibilities, all of this mean nothing here. It's just you and your body. You have time to think to yourself, to breathe, to relax. You start to become more akin with your body, better understanding it, and realizing that all of the muscles, regardless of where they are connected. Even the tiniest of twitch sends ripples throughout your whole body. As you lay there, not a worry to think about, you have something that you might not have in the real world, or at least more of what you have in the real world. Time. Time has no structure here. There is no deadline. There is no routine or schedule or any pressing matters or last-minute changes. It's just you. You continue to float and wander in this space. And then, when the last few minutes of music kick in, it is still relaxing, but you slowly start to feel your body come alive again. Your fingers tend to move. Your legs are stretching out and being used after a while of Sorry, I lost track of my wording. Your arms and legs begin to move again after what feels like an eternity of being still. Your body comes alive. Your senses start to return. And then you are back. Back to the world you came from. Back to the world you belong. Back to reality. Okay, remind me to never do an ASMR session. So, it was very interesting. Like, I hope that gives you a good understanding of what it's like being in that sensory deprivation tank, because I tried my best to figure out the best way to describe this. It is very unique. It's definitely not something I've ever felt before. Like, to have the sensories deprived that much, even when I was back in college doing, the film photography stuff, Aiden Paris says, well, that worked. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it did, even with the occasional screw-ups I did. So, I never felt anything like it. Like, when I was back in college doing black and white photography work, the only senses I was deprived of was sight, where I couldn't even see my hands. But at the same time, I could still hear the noises. I can still feel the texture of the film and, the reel it's supposed to be on. I can still feel something, but this was, the next level. It was not only so dark that I couldn't even see my hands, but it's I couldn't even feel I couldn't even feel the walls around me. Like, I couldn't feel the walls. I stopped feeling the wet texture of the water. I was just floating. It didn't even feel like water anymore. I couldn't hear anything. Like, I was in this deep sensory deprived state. And I gotta be completely honest with you. It did give me a better idea. Good. Then I did my job. Mission accomplished. I gotta be perfectly honest. Like, it felt weird to me. Like, I felt sensory deprived, but I'm not really sure if I would say I felt relaxed, you know? It just felt weird. There's no better way to describe it. Like, I felt stiff around like different parts of the body, and it's like I did really lose track of time. And there were a couple times that I thought I heard something and I thought I saw something, but I didn't. So like, but the thing is, like, I wasn't really feeling 100% relaxed, you know? It wasn't like, oh, this is the best experience ever. So, and it's similar for Thomas, because, like, at first, he tried it the same way I did. Hatch closed, lights off. But he mentioned what felt like somewhere around the halfway point, he actually turned the lights on, which I actually commend him for. I thought he was going to have the lights on the whole time. I didn't think he would try with the lights off. But for him, it's like, kind of like with the Homer Simpson experience. Boring. Like, he was just, like, chatting to himself with his own thoughts and just wondering, why am I here? I feel like I could be doing other things. And I kid you not, like, when I heard the session is now over, I was like, good, get me out of here. Because, like, at the last 5 minutes, I was thinking, okay, can I leave now? Can I leave? This has been fun, but I want to get out. So, like, 60 minutes was my limit. I could not do 90 minutes of that. I absolutely cannot, you know. Sharon Starkey says, I wonder how my claustrophobia would affect me. I think I'd rather just do meditation. See, that's the thing. Like, you know, ultimately, I don't think this is for everybody, you know. Like, as you get later on into the deprivation tank experience, you know, you stop thinking about the walls of the tank. You're just floating in this space. But in order to get to that point, it takes time. You know, you're not going to get to that Zen state in like the first 5 to 10 minutes. That takes a bit. So, like, for someone who has claustrophobia, like, I would recommend the extra large if you can, because that's what I did. It helped a little bit. But, the thing is, like, what also helped was that I had the lights off. I didn't see the walls. So not seeing the walls helped me a bit. However, for someone else who may have a worse case of claustrophobia, it might actually be worse, you know? It's one thing to see this tight space, but to know you're in a tight space and to not see anything, I think that would actually make the experience worse. So I cannot say this experience is for everybody. And, like, as I got out of the latch, I thought to myself, what year is it? How long have I been gone? And then, like, I had to take a shower again because I had to get the salt off of me. Heck, even after that shower, I still felt some salt on me. But me and Thomas both agreed, but I don't like feeling closed in. So closing the hatch behind me would create a lot of anxiety. Well, I also heard there's also... Well, another thing to remember, you don't have to close the hatch. You can choose to leave the hatch open. And if you want the dark experience, there is a light switch in the room. You just switch the room light off, you get into the tank, and you can have the light in the tank on, and that would still work. You can still have the hatch open and still achieve this experience. So, at least that's from what I understand. But both me and Thomas agreed that, it was interesting to try it once, but we probably won't try it again in the future. Like, I did this for the purpose of understanding what is sensory deprivation and what it does to the body. And, I feel like I got it. One time was enough. Now, in terms of my thoughts on sensory deprivation, I definitely want to do an autism video about it now that I have this experience. But the thing is, I'm not really sure if that's the way to go for everybody. Like, if you want to try it, then by all means, go for it. It's a little pricey. But I actually think that separate sensory deprivation is a little too extreme, if I may say so. Because here's the thing. Like, yes, there is the risk of... Aiden Paris says, here's my take. 1, keep the latch closed. 2, stay for 90 minutes. Absolutely not for me. And 3, I would enjoy to go again. Yeah, I mean, if you want to give it a try, by all means, go for it. And let me know what you think. The thing is, like, how much did it cost? Well, for the extra large tanks, it cost about $65 per person. So for me and Thomas, it was about $130. Which is not bad if you're only doing it like once, but if you're doing it like regularly, like every week or so, then it might be a bit much. It depends on how often you do it. But for both me and Thomas, it was $130 for an hour-long session in an extra large sensory deprivation tank. But that was just for this place. It could vary depending on what facility it is and what the cost there is. So you're going to want to do some research ahead of time. From what I saw, on average, the average cost for one session for one person will range about $50 to $100 from what I saw. So just keep that in mind. So here's the thing. Yes, I say there is a risk of overstimulation because there is a risk of overstimulation. But at the same time, I'm not really sure if sensory deprivation would solve the problem. Like, they say that sensory deprivation is supposed to relax your body and ease your pain, reduce anxiety. But based on what I saw, I'm not really sure if any of those were accomplished. Like, the muscle pain in the lower back, while I wasn't feeling it during the session, I was still feeling it again afterwards. And I know there's people that would have anxiety problems. I know Thomas had a little bit of anxiety problems in the tank. So, like, and the other thing is, like, it deprives the body of stimulation, I just think, from my experience, that is too extreme of a solution. I think the goal is not to deprive the body of senses completely, even if for a certain span of time, but rather to find the right balance. To find the balance of stimulation that the individual can handle. Maybe they like it more quiet, or maybe they like loud music. Maybe they like feeling smooth textures, or maybe they like feeling rough textures. It's all about finding that balance for the individual. So, like, if you want to try the sensory deprivation tank, even if it's for one time or for regular, then by all means, go for it. It's one of those things where you'll either like it or you won't like it, but first you may consider trying it. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I saw something drop for a minute. Oh, that's fine. Anyway, so that is basically my experience, and it was good that I had the experience once, and I don't think I need to do it again. I pretty much got the full experience, and now that I got the experience, I'll have a better time writing the script for sensory deprivation. That's going to be the next autism video, and is my next crooked? I tend to be crooked from time to time, but that's besides the point. So now I'm more confident that I can work on this sensory deprivation script much better now. Now that I have a better understanding for how it works. So, oh jeez. Okay, yeah. So that's my experience. I'm glad I tried it, but I probably won't do it again in the future. So the next autism video, which will be, let me check my calendar, should be, assuming if everything goes right, will be August 10th around 7 a.m. Sharon Starkey says, where did you go to have it done? It was a place like, it's actually nearby. Let me pull it up again. So the place is called Luna Float Spa and Salt Cave. It's on 202 East Cheyenne Mountain Boulevard in Colorado Springs, and the zip code is 80906. But remember, you have to go to the website or call in advance to schedule the appointment. You can't just walk in and, expect things to be ready. You need to schedule the appointment in advance and read everything in the waiver, even the fine print. Make sure you fully understand what you're getting yourself into. And they do have the option where if you have any questions, you can call them and they'll answer the questions to the best of their ability. They were able to answer my questions, so that helped. Yeah, so they're actually nearby, Colorado Springs. So the website should have most of the information that you need. And again, if you need any more. Oh, Sharon says, I'm not going, just curious. Okay, just wanted to let you know. I went to, Aiden Paris says, hey, I went to Colorado Springs a few years ago. Oh, nice. How was it in Colorado Springs? If you ever drop by again, let me know. Maybe we can hook up. So, well, no. Did I say hook up? I mean hang out. That's what I meant to say, hang out. I gotta be careful with my wording. So yeah, that was my experience. Hopefully if everything goes well, the next autism video will be August 10th. Like earlier today, I did a video on like what to do with emotional burnout, which was one of the questions that an audience member asked. I know it wasn't like a full-on autism video like usual, but it was like I was having so much trouble with this script and another script I was trying to do that, I couldn't really do a full-on autism video without having a proper script ready. He says, pretty awesome there. Yes, I'll let you know when we can hang out. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. So now that I have the full experience, I should be able to have an easier time making the sensory deprivation video. So what do you think? Whether you're watching this live or watching this later, if you have any more like questions or thoughts about this, just let me know in the comments section below. And with that, I think it's a pretty good time to end the live stream. Again, I don't know whether or not there's going to be a Chow Garden live stream tomorrow because I'll be hanging with friends and family at the Renaissance. If there is a chance, I will let you know tomorrow, one way or another, right? So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. One more thing. So an update on the little challenge I posted for you guys, and that was, if the video I made about autistic people loving Sonic the Hedgehog, if that video got to around 1,000 views before the October 25th, that I would stream Sonic X Shadow Generations. Apparently, people took that challenge very seriously because now that video is at 957 views. To give you some context, Sonic X Shadow Generations does not come out until October 25th. I gave you guys about 3 months in advance, and it seems like you guys will get it done before July even ends. How? I mean, I'm happy, but How? So, yeah, keep at it, and I guess I'll have to pre-order Sonic X Shadow Generations now. Joy! But yeah, that should be pretty good. Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it here. So thank you very much for watching the live stream, whether you're watching it live or watching it later. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell icon, comment, all that good stuff that makes Toast-O-Mac grow. And yeah, until the next live stream, see you later.